Last time we talked about quadratics. We graphed them in standard form. Now let's take a look about how to do that in vertex form. So vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So let's take a look at an example. Let's do, I don't know, let's do y equals 2 times x minus 2 squared plus 5. That's a good one. Alright, so the first thing we want to do to go about graphing these are define the a, h, and k term. So let's go ahead and do that. Our a term in this case is 2. Our h is equal, our h is going to be 2 as well. And the h, you would think it's negative 2, but you want to ask yourself, what makes this business here in parentheses equals 0? And positive 2 would make this equal 0. And we could talk about why that is in a future video, but for now you can just remember that whatever the number is here, it's the opposite sign. So if we have a negative 2, it's a positive 2. And let's talk about our k term, and that's going to be 5. That's just our constant. So now that we have these, we can work with this a little bit better. So our vertex is equal to h comma k, and we just labeled what those were. So it's going to be 2 comma 5. Let's go ahead and put that on our graph. That would be right over here. Okay. And remember, this is, before we even have all the points here, we know that this is going to be an upward opening parabola. Remember, we have that intuition because the a term here is positive. And when we have a positive a term, we know that it's an upward opening parabola. So this point, our vertex right here, is our minimum. So let me just write that down. So this is our vertex, in other words, our min. Now let me not cover up the numbers there. So that's our min. Okay. So now let's just go ahead and plug in some points to get the actual exact idea of what this parabola looks like. So let's plug in 3. So y equals 2 times 3 minus 2 squared plus a5. That equals 2 times 1 plus 5, giving us 7. So this point here is 3 comma 7. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Let me use that same color. Alright, so 3 comma 7. Oh, and I almost forgot. Let's label our axis of symmetry. Remember rather, the axis of symmetry is the x term of the vertex. So let's draw that in orange. So now that we've labeled that, we know that we've gone 1 over the axis of symmetry at y equals 7. So we can go 1 to the left of that axis, right over here. Alright, let's do one more. So, I don't know, let's do 3.5, because I think if we plugged in a 4, we'd be off the graph, and we don't want that. So y equals 2 times 3.5 minus 2 squared plus 5. And that'll give us 9.5, I think. Yes, I just used my calculator there, so 9.5. So this point right over here is, let's see, alright, 3.5 comma 9.5. Let's go ahead and graph that. 9.5 is right about there. Let's plug in its corresponding point on the other side. And now we have a pretty good idea of what our parabola looks like. So let's go ahead and draw that as best as possible. Don't forget your arrows in the end, indicating that this goes to positive infinity. And there we have it. This is how to graph a quadratic in vertex form.